Welcome to the third edition of the And Away They Joe show. Hello, hello. Joining me from the last podcast to this podcast is Melanie Martinez. You can follow her on Twitter at Skim the Rail. She'll be joining me infrequently on upcoming podcasts. Melanie, thank you so much for your time and thank you for being on today.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I had Subway earlier, so I'm a little full.
Oh, good.
but I'm a little sore because my legs are I rode my horse today and my legs
Oh,
are just
nice. Okay.
they're killing me. Oh my goodness, he beat me up pretty good.
Hey,
have
good
you
exercise.
have you ever been on a horse?
I have, yeah.
Were your legs sore?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm about a size of a jockey, so I mean, maybe in
Oh,
a past life I was a jockey.
like, how tall are you?
I'm about 5'1".
And you didn't want to become a jockey?
Yeah, I am the height of a jockey, and yeah, I've got I maybe in a past life.
Why not now? You could still do it.
No, I'd probably break some bones. So,
Oh no. Yeah, we don't want that. Did you
yeah.
ever get the Clorox wipes?
Uh, no, not yet. The elusive Clorox wipes. Yeah, you can't find them anywhere.
Still?
Well, unless you go out to the grocery store or Home Depot at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I'm
either.
like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's fine. No, thank
Later
you.
later on in the program, we're going to have Nick Rogers, who runs the NorCal Racing News Twitter. You could follow him at NorCal HR News, and Matt Dinerman, who is the track announcer and racing analyst at Golden Gate Fields. You could follow him at 3 Colts Handicap. We're going to be previewing the San Francisco Mile coming up. Are you ready for that? Are you going to bet that race?
Man, that's going to be a awesome race. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I was looking at the program for it. My head was hurting.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
I had a headache too because there's a few horses in there that you can make a case for winning the race. So it's gonna be an interesting race. It's gonna be a good one.
and last podcast I wanted to ask you is a question that I wanted to ask you now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all have a big story about when we win, but we also have the bad beat story of when we've lost where we could have won a lot of money. Have
Yeah.
you ever had a really, really big, like, oh my God, I would have walked out with $1 million or anything like that? Has that ever happened? I'm sure it's happened to you, but
Oh, of
what was
course.
your biggest one that you were like, oh,
Yeah, the could have, would have, should have, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do, and I think we can all of us can remember at least one story that we went into deep depression somehow. But remember in the last segment that I was on, I talked about my big 2014 Kentucky Derby win. Well, I didn't share the other half of the story. Although I hit this trifecta, I I thought I had also hit the superfecta, and the dollar superfecta was probably, I think it was over 15,000. But uh, yeah, what I did was I put my bet in, and I was trying to, in attempt to try to control what I was betting, I removed some horses, and yeah, I removed the number 20, which was Wicked Strong. So
Oh no.
there was a second as they were, running down the stretch that I thought I had hit not only the trifecta, but the superfecta. But lesson learned, once you put your bet in, do not change it.
Yeah, because California Chrome was 5-2, and then you had some big long shots under, and I
Yeah.
think Wicked Strong was the second favorite to California Chrome.
Yeah, I think he was 6-1. And then Commanding Curve, he was a huge long shot, and Danza uh, was the trifecta. But yeah, that was my story. I went into, post Derby depression, and I kicked whenever I hear Wicked Strong, it just brings me back to that moment. But I walked out of the casino. I'm like, don't be greedy, don't be greedy, be grateful. And but yeah, that's a story I will never forget.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it took me a while to actually look at how much the superfecta paid because I just didn't want to know.
And it was like 15,000
I
for a dollar.
Yeah, I think it was 15,000. Yeah.
That's all right. You still had 5,000. I think everybody right now would be happy with 5,000, right?
Yeah, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I got one that's sort of similar, and it happened to be on
Yeah.
Golden Gate. It happened to be at Golden Gate Fields, and I was alive to the pick six jackpot, and it was about 30,000.
Oh, wow.
And each leg, I missed some of the races, but some of the races that I missed was like long shots. So I had one live horse, and no one else had the horse, and that's how you hit the jackpot. You got to be the only winner.
Oh, okay.
So I was alive to one horse, and it was Tim McKenna who trained one of the horses that I had before. And oh man, like I picked the name and the trainer because I liked the name of the horse. Her name was Nicole Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
Nice little gray mare, and
Oh,
I thought she was gonna
I love the name.
Nicole Michelle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great name.
yeah. I want to name all my daughters that.
One
Well, actually,
Nicole,
no. If
one
I won, then
Michelle.
I would name all my daughters that.
Yeah. Name one Nicole, one Michelle, and another Nicole Michelle.
It's like George Foreman. He names all his kids George, even the girls. But yeah, I was live to one horse, and I remember asking Matt, what are the payouts? And he's like, oh no, you're live. I was like, oh man. So of course, when the race goes on, she couldn't even run a step. Well, she had post 9, so I took a big gamble there, and it was about
Mm-hmm.
like I think it was a 6 furlong race, and then but she didn't go. She's probably still running right now. But that would have been $30,000. I mean,
Wow.
luckily it paid 5 out of 6, but I'm still
Mm-hmm.
happy with $800 something that I ended up getting out of it anyway. So it wasn't bad.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like I really thought, because the morning line she was 7-2,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought she was gonna win. She looked pretty good when I've seen her before, so I had a feeling that it was gonna be that. But no, the racing gods weren't on my side that day. Sort of. I'm still happy with $800 though. So now we're gonna have Matt Dinerman and Nick Rogers for their preview of the San Francisco Mile, and we're gonna talk about our top selections for that race. Joining me today, we have Nick Rogers, and we also have Matt Dinerman for the preview of this Sunday's San Francisco Mile. Nick Rogers, you could follow him on Twitter. He does the NorCal Racing News site, and that's at NorCal HR News. And Matt Dinerman is the track announcer for Golden Gate Fields and the analyst for the races. Nick, how are you doing
I'm
today?
doing good. Just finished handicapping the San Francisco Mile for this year. Really competitive field, so really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a tough race. Matt, how are you?
I'm good, Joe. Just really looking forward to the weekend here. We got a lot of good races coming up. I know, Nick, you're following in, and Joe, you'll be tuning in too. So we're looking forward to it. And, of course, the marquee being the San Francisco Mile. We're very much excited for this year's edition.
And the San Francisco Mile is one of the premier races at Golden Gate Fields. Usually it's run in April, but this year, since the pandemic happened, it happens to be the last race on closing day. And this race is right next to the El Camino Real Derby. Both races are pretty much the premier races for Golden Gate Fields. All right, so we're going to pick 4 horses, our top selections. And Matt, go ahead. You can go first.
It's a good race this year. I think it's very competitive. And on speed figures, it looks like Restrained Vengeance is sort of your guy if you're a speed figures player, at least if you're a Buyer's speed figures player, because you got a 103 in the All-American. But my top pick will be Neptune Storm. I don't know what the morning line odds are going to be on him, but I'm imagining he's going to get bet pretty heavily for trainer Richard Baltus. This horse making his second start off a 5-month break, and Richard Baltus is a lot better numbers with second start off the layoff types than first start off the layoff horses. So he's a horse that I'm looking to improve after a 5-length loss in the Shoemaker Mile. The good horses like Raging Bull and Next Shares and Without Parole. Obviously, the field he finds here is a bit easier. So I'm thinking Neptune Storm is the one. He's got tactical speed. I think he's going to get a good trip. And he's 3 for 6 going a mile. He really likes going 1 mile, 8 furlongs. So he's going to be the top pick for me. I think Kiwi's Dream is an interesting horse to consider. He gets back to turf. He actually lost to Murad Khan 3 starts ago sprinting. But Murad Khan doesn't have great form, and Kiwi's Dream has really shown an affinity for routing. So he's a horse I'm looking at. You have to question whether maybe he might be a little bit better on synthetics, but he's a horse I like in this spot. And then the 2 Drysdale horses, Simply Breathless and also Majestic Eagle. I think Simply Breathless is a mare that totally wants a mile and a 16. She's been running against grade 1 filly and mares, so she's probably in a bit tough in those races. And she gets back down to earth here in this grade 3, even though it looks like it's a decent field anyway. And even though she is facing males, her speed figures, her best efforts actually stack up with some of the horses in this race. I don't think I love her on the win end, but I think she might go off at a little bit of a price. She might get ignored a little bit. Maybe you could look at her underneath in exotics. And then Majestic Eagle, a horse that Umberto Rispoli is coming up to ride. So if he's shipping up here to ride, that means you must think this horse is a good shot. He won the grade 3 All-American in June. He's lost 5 straight races since, but some of these races he's been running against good horses. I mean, the last time we saw him, he only lost by 3 lengths to grade 1 winner Riverboyne. So I'm thinking Majestic Eagle certainly in with a chance. And he's another one similar to Next Shares, or I'm sorry, not Next Shares, Neptune Storm, who they've got tactical speed. So those are probably my top 4. I think Restrained Vengeance, I like him, but I think he's beatable. And I also think that he's a horse that you have to question whether maybe he bounces off his last race where he ran really, really, really hard to beat Kiwi's Dream. Both horses did, and they're both susceptible to bouncing. But I think in this spot here, Restrained Vengeance could regress off such a big race in the All-American. So I'm not set in stone with my picks, but that's sort of my general feeling on the race.
Yeah, no, Restrained Vengeance hasn't had a graded stakes win yet, so I'm sure that probably this is the race that he wants to win here. Nick, what do you have?
I agree with Matt on Restrained Vengeance. I picked him last time, but that was a really hard race, and there is a lot of speed in here too. So I think it's going to be a little tougher for him. And being drawn in post 8, going a mile on the turf at Golden Gate, the first turn comes up pretty quick. He's going to get a wide trip in here. So at short price, I do think he's beatable on the win end. Kiwi's Dream ran really well last time and seems to be a lot better routing. I thought he was a sprinter, but he's definitely proved me wrong. And Juan Hernandez has been riding so great lately, so you got to respect him. But the one to beat, I'll be picking second is Neptune Storm. He's by far the class of the field. That the pace figures I'm looking at for the Shoemaker Mile, he was just on a super hot pace in there. And he put away, I believe that was Voodoo Song on the lead and then tired out. That was his first start since December. So he'll be a lot more fit this time around. It doesn't have to face horses like Raging Bull. And then he's also been knocking heads with Mo Forza. And he won the grade 2 Hill Prince back in October at Beaumont Park. So I think he's the one to beat. I'll pick him second in here just because I think the pace is going to be so hot. Also, I want to note that it's great to see Irving Orozco back too. And he's getting a mount in the big race, which is awesome to see. My top pick, though, I kind of surprised myself with this one. And I know Matt doesn't really like him that much, but I'm going to go with Murad Khan in here. His last race, he had a little bit of traffic trouble late in the lane. I mean, he wasn't going to win. It was probably just costing about a length, but he galloped out a lot or way past the field. I think 5.5, while he has one there, is just going to be is too short. He can get the mile. And Doug O'Neill won this race last year with a horse that he claimed in Blitzkrieg. And this horse he claimed, I believe it's the same owner as Blitzkrieg too. So they're trying to cook up the same recipe as last year. I think he's going to take back and just off the leaders in that second fight and show enough turn a foot late to get up and win. So he's going to be my top pick. Second pick, like I said, is Neptune Storm. My third pick, this horse has been kind of frustrating because he always looks like he's going to win in most of his races, but just never finds any finish or doesn't like to go by. I don't know what that is, but that's going to be Camino del Paraíso. I think he's better on the turf, and he's going to save a lot of ground on the inside. So I have him third. And he had a wide trip last time, so I think you can upgrade his effort a little bit. And then fourth, I'll put Restrained Vengeance just because you got to respect him because he's just so consistent, and he's a really cool horse because he's proven he can run his A game on dirt, turf, and synthetic. So 4, 7, 1, 8 is my top four.
That's an interesting pick with the Murad Khan because I noticed that he does well on the mile, and then they cut him back on the grade 3 races before that at Santa Anita. And usually if they're cutting him back and then they're going to try to run him on the mile again, you could see a better turnout. So I really like Murad. That's who you have on top, right? Murad
Yes.
Khan? Yeah, and Kyle Frey, like he runs some big he's run some big runs before, like Zakharov in the El Camino. Was it the El Camino Real Derby?
Yeah. And he won the Golden Poppy last weekend too, so he's got a hot hand coming into this one.
Yeah. You make a good point there, Nick, when I look at this. I mean, you're totally right on that. He's not really a sprinter. I mean, he won sprinting 3 starts ago, but he's probably better going a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think a mile is probably as far as he wants to go. I think preferably probably like a 1-turn mile or a 7 furlong race, but they don't have those out here. So the turf course, it hasn't rained in a while, so it's pretty firm. So I think he can see out the trip.
I like that top pick. As far as what I've gotten, I'm going to take the mare, Simply Breathless, only because that last race with Goldakova in the Goldakova last year, he's running grade 1s, but that race with Joel Rosario lost the whip and was still trying to gain ground on the leader in that race. But I think with all this pace, I think she's the one that's going to probably swoop in at a big price. Maybe, hopefully, if I have him on top, but we'll see. I have also Restrained Revenge second. I think just looking at it, I think he's probably going to get his second or his first graded stakes win. I just looking at him in the form is just he has a lot of good races there. Yeah, Neptune Storm had a good second in the Hollywood Derby and against Mopras too, and I don't know that one's going to be if Kiwi Dream and Neptune Storm get in a speed battle, I think it will set up Simply Breathless. And I'm also going to take fourth. I'll take Majestic Eagle. Has a lot of good back class too, and has a grade 3 win at Santa Anita on the turf on 1 mile. So I think, and with Rispoli coming up from Santa Anita, I think that he has a chance. The speed figures don't look like it, but I think he does have a shot. So I'm going to go 5, 8, 7, and 3. It's a tough race. From looking at it, it's a really tough race.
Good race.
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, and I don't know how the person that's going to do the morning line for this, it's going to be pretty wide open, don't you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. I think Neptune Storm will be the favorite, but I don't know how heavy of a favorite.
He might be 5-2.
Yeah, that sounds right.
5-2, but I don't know. The only mare in here, I really think she has a chance. So with that being said, there's going to be a $250,000 guaranteed pool, right, Matt, for the late pick 4?
That's right. We got a late pick 4 guarantee of $250,000, and actually every single race is on the turf.
Yeah, so that definitely.
And it's a mandatory pick 6 payout too, correct?
Yep, mandatory payouts, pick 6, rolling high 5, bolt the late pick 5. So it's going to be a big day. We got about 9.5 horses a race, 104 horses entered to run on Sunday, and Saturday we got 99 horses in 11 races. So a lot going on. Good races coming up this weekend, all weekend long.
Oh yeah, definitely want to check it out before we won't see it again for a while, because Pleasanton will be back up and running for, I think, the summer, and then Golden Gate will have their summer meet. All right, thanks you guys. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you having me
thanks for having me. That was a lot of fun.
Great to be on, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Matt.
River Boyne to the outside gate, completing the line of 10. We're ready to go in the San Francisco Mile. And they're off, and all 10 runners broke perfectly. Grecian Fire up close to the pace momentarily, but there goes Many Roses off the layoff, and he takes control from Blitzkrieg, who strides into second. Grecian Fire is third with stablemate Choo Choo. Then Riverboyne in the fifth position with the Irish Invader Wentwood, who's keen to go on. Behind the leaders as they enter the turn. Leken's there as well. Bowie's Hero towards the back of the pack with Myth Call and a three-deep suitor as they make their way onto the backstretch. 10 lengths from front to back, and Many Roses on the lead by a length and a half from Blitzkrieg in a good position, traveling well in second. A gap of 2 lengths to Choo Choo. He's in front of stablemate Grecian Fire. Riverboyne a joint fourth with Grecian Fire, 4 lengths off the pace. And Myth Call is 3 deep joining that duo. A length and a half to Wentwood. Racing with Leken, another length to Suitor. And Bowie's Hero is the back marker. The Grade 1 winner has to pass them all in a half mile. They start to bunch up, though. They're only separated by 8 lengths as they hit the far turn. And Blitzkrieg turning up the heat on Many Roses, who just a neck in front now as they enter the turn. Blitzkrieg's right there. A length and a half to Choo Choo being asked to go. Leken's advanced position. He's fourth, 3 lengths behind, and Riverboyne's struggling. He's dropping back. Riverboyne's got to get going as they come off the turn. Blitzkrieg is just past Many Roses, and Blitzkrieg coming off the turn has increased the lead to 2.5 lengths. He's trying to get away. Choo Choo's trying to get him in the second position. Riverboyne has found a second win, and he's coming charging. Blitzkrieg has a 3-length lead. Riverboyne's trying to nail him. He's coming late, but Blitzkrieg's going to get there, and Blitzkrieg and Bejarano have won the San Francisco Mile over Riverboyne. Choo Choo at 40-1 was third, and then Leken and Grecian Fire.
Matt Dinerman with the call there of last year's San Francisco Mile winner Blitzkrieg. And Melanie, I'm sure that you're ready to play this race. I know that you handicap a lot, so I wanted to hear your opinion on Simply Breathless. No, on all the horses, because Simply Breathless is my pick. But all the horses, who do you have? Who are your top 4?
Hey, this is going to be an interesting race. You could really make a case for a bunch of horses in this race.
All of them. I think you can make a case for all of them.
For each one, you can come up with a reason why they should win. But my top pick is going to be the number 8, Restrain Vengeance. He's a versatile horse that has won on all 3 surfaces, and the trainer thinks he's better on grass. So he did win on the turf last year at Golden Gate in the Rolling Green Handicap, and he's been on a winning streak. So, you know, when I'm looking at the past performances, he likes to win. And I get it. Yes, this is, you know, he's moving up in class in this race on Sunday. So, you know, I guess we'll just wait and see how he does. But he's been working out really great. He had a good bullet 5 days ago, and he looks to be in good shape.
Yeah, I'd say so because of his last bullet was really good at Santa Anita. And it's going to be hard because he does draw an outside post, and
yeah,
he's going to be. It's hard to win your third race. It's good. It's not as easy as it looks to win 3 races in a row. So he's going to be a monster if he wins this race. But you got to respect him in this race, I'd say.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. In the All-American Stakes at Golden Gate, in his last race, this horse battled in the stretch to finish ahead in front of Kiwi's Dream. So, you know, and Kiwi's Dream had set the pace. It was a pretty cool battle down the stretch. So we're going to see Restrain Vengeance, Kiwi's Dream, and Camino del Paraíso. They're going to be facing each other again. So it should be really, really interesting. Who knows? It could be 1, 2, 3 again.
Yeah, it could be 1, 2, 3 again. And I say that, you know, with Kent DeSormo back on him with the last race that he won. So he definitely has a shot.
Oh, definitely. And Kent had won the San Francisco Mile back in 1993 and 2000. So if all goes well, he could do it again in 2020.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he'll be stalking this pace. My second pick is going to be the number 1 Camino del Paraíso. He's placed in his last 3 stake races. He ran second in a pair of grade 3 races at Santa Anita. He also had a sharp workout a week ago. His jockey, Catalino Martinez, is the second leading jockey at Golden Gate. So he'll be tracking the pace as well. It's going to be, on paper, it looks to be like it should be a hot pace. So
Yeah, yeah. He could definitely stalk him and then go right by him after.
Yeah, for sure. And my next pick is going to be the number 4, Murad Khan.
Mm-hmm.
He he's a turf specialist, ran third in a graded turf sprint 2 races back. And what I like about him is he's going from 5.5 to a mile, and I really like that transition.
Yeah, stretching out looks really good. He
Mm-hmm.
has pretty good form on the mile at he did at Santa Anita and Del Mar last
Oh yeah.
year.
Mm-hmm. And he's got good speed figures, and he likes this distance.
And what about Simply Breathless? No, I'm just kidding. Who was your last pick?
Yeah, and well, I hate to be chalky, but it's difficult to keep out Neptune Storm.
Oh, it wasn't Simply Breathless. I tried to make a guess, but it's all right. Yeah, Neptune Storm. Yeah, he's gonna be tough.
I mean, it's hard to keep. He's a graded stakes winner. Has hit the board 6 times in 2019, all in stake races. And I get it. He didn't fare well in his last race in May. He was the pace factor in the Shoemaker Mile, but I mean, I think you can kind of cross that one out because his last race prior to that was in late December. So he probably needed that race. So I'm looking for him to improve. So, no surprise. I'm going with the 8147.
8147. That sounds.
8147. But, looking at the pace in the race, Simply Breathless, she could, I'm going to throw her in the exotics as well, because just by her running style, the pace should fit how she runs. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really interesting race.
Yeah, has a grade 3 win, and she was in harder company with the grade 1s, but I think she definitely has a shot. I think she does, but
Mm-hmm.
it's Kiwi's Dream kind of looks. I think he's just gonna be out there, but I don't know about his turf form. Doesn't really look that good. His last win on the turf was like 3 years ago. 2 years ago,
Yeah,
I
and
should say.
it's the owner trainer, and he has the number 1 leading jockey at Golden Gate, JJ Hernandez. There's a lot of things to like about this horse. He has great speed figures, and I think he's going to go straight to the front with Neptune Storm. It's going to be breathing down his neck. He has a great bullet. Um, I'm just not crazy about his turf form. So, and that's why I'm passing. I mean, he looks to be in good, that last bullet and his workouts, but because of his turf form, I'm going to pass on him.
Yeah, and he's a Sebring that's out of more than ready. So these Australian horses are bred for the turf, but he
Oh
looks like he
yeah.
seems to do better on the synthetic than the turf. So
Oh yeah,
I,
for
I
sure.
wouldn't. I don't know if I would put him in either. I think he's gonna just set the pace, and then all the people off the pace or the big swoopers from behind are gonna catch him.
Oh yeah, and then there's Arch Prince. He's going to be in the pressing the pace, and the one thing I like about Arch Prince, the number 2, is that he has a high percentage, 35%, second off the layoff. But this is going to be a tough field that he's going up against. So
Yeah, he's faced some of them before, like Kiwi's Dream and Camino del Paraiso or Parizu, or I don't know how to pronounce it. But he could have a shot. He has a shot. All these horses have a shot. It's like you look up and down, and it's like everybody's in pretty good form for this race. So
for sure, yeah, I would say turf is not his game, but again, you never know. Surprises happen all the time in horse racing. So
oh, and Camino del Paraiso actually ran second in a grade 3 at Santa Anita against Riverboyne at big odds too. So he does definitely have a chance in this race.
oh yeah, I like him a lot. I really like him a lot.
All right, Melanie, thank you so much for your picks, and be sure to tune in on next week. We're gonna have CJ Johnson, who has Flying Alita in the Ascot race, the Albany for 2-year-olds. So be sure. Yeah, be
Oh,
sure to
that's
check that out.
awesome.
I'm going to be really excited. I hope he's wearing his top hat because, an ascot, you got to wear a top hat.
Oh,
I hope he
definitely,
has his top hat
definitely.
on, and I hope she has safe travels along that ascot straight turf. I love the straight turf races where it's all straight. There's no turns like in Flemington where it's just all straight. Have you ever seen any of those races where it's just
Oh,
all? I like it. I don't know. I
yeah.
like it better than the turn ones for some reason.
I'd love to travel there one year and just go shoot some races. That'd be awesome. It's on my bucket
Ascot.
list. So yes,
I
definitely
wonder
for
if they
sure.
have to have like a dress code for you guys too, because you know how everybody's dressed up there.
That's something to think about. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. There's
Even
a
for the
dress code.
photographers, huh? That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a dress code.
Well, thank you,
Awesome.
Melanie, for joining me, and thank you guys for listening. Until next time, see you guys later.